video here. Today we're going to be answering the question, do narcissists ever heal and stop being narcissists? Like, can this come to an end? Is there a cure? Can this be fixed? That's a very common question. Someone asked this to me, and I can relate back to my own situation. Besides being a mental health therapist, besides being a toxic relationship coach, I also was in a toxic, narcissistic, romantic relationship for 10 years. In addition to that, I also have narcissistic family members that I am no longer in a relationship with, but was. So I have a lot of experience professionally and personally. And I remember after coming out of that narcissistic romantic relationship / marriage, I then had to deal with breaking away from narcissistic family members. These were the same family members that were actually pretending to be my support system as I was trying to heal and move on from the narcissistic marriage. So it was a very, very difficult time for me. And I remember being very desperate to make the narcissistic family relationship work, because I'm like, I can't deal with another loss, right? So in my mind, I'm like, let me be the best version of myself. Let me love this person. If they're doing wrong things, if they're lying, they're manipulating people, they're exploiting people, cheating, stealing, whatever it is they're doing, let me try to teach them the better way to be. And I thought that if I loved on them more, if I gave more, that eventually they will come around and see that this is a better way to live your life. And I had to face the hard truth that that just didn't exist. You cannot love a narcissist into healing, right? But I want you to know that I do understand that desperate feeling, because you're like, I don't want to lose this person, right? So you're trying everything you can to say, like, is there a way around this? Is there something I can do, something they need to do to be able to heal from this so they're not a narcissist anymore? So I'm going to help you to answer that question. Can a narcissist ever heal, and can they stop being a narcissist? Before I do that, I want to introduce myself to those of you who are new. Welcome. My name is Nailah Abdullah. I am a toxic relationship coach with a background in mental health therapy. As I said, I also was in a narcissistic relationship, romantic relationship / marriage, and also family relationships. And now I work with women, helping them to heal, helping them to move on beyond the experience, beyond the trauma, the impact of a toxic and narcissistic relationship. So if that sounds like where you are right now, stick around, subscribe, and stick around, and let's get into this topic. So, do narcissists ever heal do narcissists ever heal and stop being a narcissist? What I want you to understand about narcissists, because I know this is a very welcome. I see you all coming in. I know this is a very trendy topic, right? Everyone's using the term, he's a narcissist, she's a narcissist, I'm a narcissist, right? But it's actually, for those of you who do not know, it's actually a medical term, a term that is used in the world of the mental health. It comes from the DSM, which stands for Diagnostic Statistical Manual. So when someone goes for mental health support, whether it be to a social worker, counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, and they go to get diagnosed, based on their criteria of behavior, based on their criteria of experiences, the mental health professional will line that up based on what is in this manual and give a diagnosis, right? So though you have heard of anxiety disorder, you have heard of depression, you have heard of schizophrenia, you have heard of some of these more common familiar ones, but narcissistic personality disorder is also a diagnosis that is in this manual, right? So with that said, this is something that has been scientifically studied, of course, for over many years. And one of the things about personality disorder is that they cannot be treated. What they can be is managed, right? So you can't completely heal from it. It's not something you can take a pill and heal from it. But personality disorders and narcissistic personality disorder is just one of several different personality disorders. But personality disorders on a whole cannot be fixed, cannot be healed. Again, in rare cases, they can possibly be managed. So what does that look like? That looks like someone going for mental health support, and going to a mental health professional, getting diagnosed. Welcome, Shanley. Getting diagnosed, and the mental health professional then talks to them and figures out what they can do to shift the way that they behave, to shift the way that they think, right? To counteract the way that they think. For example, if they automatically get the impulse to lie about something, the therapist may say, okay, when you get that impulse, I want you to stop before you respond and think about another way to respond. That's just a very quick example, right? So that is how you start to manage, and for all of us as human beings, we all find ways to manage certain behaviors. If you see that you're responding in a certain way or whatever it is, you say, okay, how am I going to manage this, right? So this is what, I hope that didn't pause me. Can you guys still hear me clearly? Let me know. So that is how, that is the only thing that can be done with any personality disorder, not just narcissism, is that you can learn how to manage it. Now, here is the catch. Unlike other disorders, right? People with narcissistic personality, because of the way that they think, they never really see a need to actually get help in the first place. So even though in rare cases, yes, they can be taught how to manage it, before they're taught how to manage it, they first have to realize, I have a problem. And that actually goes against the way that they think. They don't think they have a problem. Now, some of you may say, yeah, well, I've heard them say, yeah, I should do better. I should. They are aware that they're destructive people. They are aware. However, they don't have a genuine, keyword, genuine desire to change who they are. So they may say it in a moment where they maybe feel defeated if they're getting in a conflict with you, their spouse, their partner, or whatever it is, and they want to finagle their way out, manipulate their way out of the situation to make you feel like they can be better, they're interested in being better. They will say things like that. They may even change for a short amount of time, but it is so against their nature. It does not feed their desire, right? They have this think of like a parasite, like a mosquito. They need to drink the blood, right? There's no, changing you can do to a mosquito. So it is the same thing with them. So before they can get in the door to a mental health professional to say, how can I manage these desires that I have, this compulsion that I have to lie, this compulsion that I have to manipulate, this compulsion that I have to control and emotionally hurt and place mind games, psychological games, before they can get to a mental health professional to even figure that out, you first have to realize, I have a problem, and that's not something that they can do. So sad to say, I know a lot of times when people ask me this question, can a narcissist heal, and stop being a narcissist? Yes, but it's rare, right? So no, they can never stop being a narcissist, but they can learn how to manage it. But even learning how to manage it is rare because it goes against their personality type. For them, they have no desire to change. They like who they are. Taking accountability, taking responsibility for their actions, that all goes into being able to manage your behavior, right? To change who you are. And all of that is not who they are. They're not people to manage they're not the type of people to take accountability. They're not the type of people to take ownership, of their behavior and to reflect and apologize, right? That all goes against, they're not the type of people who want peace, right? People who go to therapy are people who say, I want to be better. I want the people around me to be better, right? Because they want a peaceful life. They want peaceful, happy, healthy relationships. And that all goes against what a narcissist is all about. They enjoy the conflict. They enjoy the manipulation. They enjoy it all. So to answer that question, off the bat is that they cannot really heal. They can learn to manage it, but even that is rare. So once a narcissist, always a narcissist. And I kind of consider it, I always use animals. It's like, going into the animal kingdom, right? Like if you come across a cheetah, or a hyena, like there's no amount of hugging and kissing and feeding that hyena you can do to make it now say, I'm going to be your friend. There's a 99% chance that it's going to attack you because it's in their nature, right? And it's the same thing with them. I know a lot of times as human beings, We feel like we're all pretty much the same. And if we give each other certain types of treatment, we can all kind of be the same and mesh. But there are some people that absolutely cannot. And these types of people fall into that. So while you have that answer, I don't want to just leave you high and dry there, because I know that's not an answer that feels good. Usually when people ask that question, like I said, I've been there too. You want to make sure, like, I'm desperate. I do want them to change. I do want the narcissist to heal and stop being a narcissist. So I know it's disappointing to hear that there's a very slim chance that that will ever happen. So I want to give you some support. I want to give you some tools to move forward now that you have this disappointing information. So the second step is to accept this hard truth. Acceptance is key. Even though it's difficult, accept it. And give yourself space to grieve the loss of someone who never existed. Give yourself space to grieve the loss of someone who never existed. I know firsthand, besides working with other women and helping other women, even for myself, welcome, Kaden. I know it is very difficult to look at a relationship, and most of these toxic narcissistic relationships are long-term relationships, to look at these years and say, was this all fake? Was any of it real? Were you ever, like, was there anything that I fell in love with you? Was any of it real? That is hard. That is hard because you feel disappointed. Another feeling that comes up a lot of times, so don't feel like, don't feel like you're alone, is you feel embarrassed. You feel embarrassed that you gave your life. You know, you even stood up for this person, because maybe people told you this person is not right? You stood up for this person and you feel embarrassed. Like, how did I not see that this was fake? So you have to give yourself space. I know a lot of times we're like, let's heal, let's move on. And yes, we don't want to be stuck. God does not want us to be stuck. But it's also healthy to give yourself space to just cry it out. Just grieve that this was not who I thought they were. For the entire 5 years, the entire 10 years, I've spoken to women 20 years. This is not who I thought they were. Despite the red flags, I thought that I knew who this person was. That is a loss. You're not losing that fake person, but you're losing the image that you had about them, right? So step into the acceptance of what I just shared, that no, they cannot heal and stop being narcissists, but allow yourself the space to just be sad about it, to cry about it, okay? Allow yourself that space. While that is important, is accepting it. Welcome, Iris. While that is important to accept it, you want to now maintain the acceptance. And that's why I suggest allowing yourself to grieve, right? Because you're not suppressing it. If we don't grieve things, then we're kind of trying to suppress it. And eventually it's going to rear its ugly head in one way or another, right? So once you accept it, once you allow yourself, you give yourself the space to grieve it, you want to maintain that acceptance, because backsliding to denial will be self-sabotaging. What does that mean? Very often, which is why I always say leaving a toxic and narcissistic relationship is just the tip of the iceberg. Because what happens in a lot of cases is that people see this person is destructive. This person is not good for me. This person has narcissistic traits. This person is toxic. They realize it, but then they backslide. They backslide to saying, well, maybe they weren't all that bad. Well, a lot of time has passed now that the relationship has ended. Maybe they've changed. They see now how much they've hurt me. They miss me and they want me back. So now maybe they're ready to do the right thing. This is all backsliding to denial, because as I said in the first point, there is no changing of a narcissist. There's no changing them. So with all of that you're saying, maybe that applies in other situations, but not someone with a destructive personality. And even if you don't consider them 100% narcissists, right? Because listen, at the end of the day, these people are not actually going to get a professional diagnosis, but you see traits in them that is destructive, that is manipulative, right? that they exploit you, they take advantage of your kindness, right? They keep repeating the same painful behaviors over and over despite you begging them to change and to act right. They're unhealthy, right? So maintaining the acceptance, and this is something I talk about in my program, The Relationship Detox. When we talk about going no contact, we also talk about maintaining. How do you maintain that no contact? Okay, so if that's something that you are struggling with, go to the relationshipdetox.co so you can get more information on that. But I highly recommend that if you are in that space where you are able to identify that this person is not good for you, but it's hard to pull away, you find yourself backsliding. That is self-sabotaging, because what you're doing is you're still allowing yourself to be abused, right? What is abuse? Mistreatment, a pattern of mistreatment. Okay? You do not want that. So it's easy to accept, but it's hard to maintain the acceptance. But that is the next thing that I recommend for you. So after you accept, you grieve the loss of someone who actually never existed, and you work on maintaining that acceptance. And the next one I encourage you to do is to release your responsibility of their disorder. I know that sounds simple, but what I realize is that a lot of times we take on responsibility that actually does not belong to us. We know we didn't cause it intellectually, but emotionally, you start to question, is there something I could have done differently? Is there something, what was wrong with me? Can I fix them? I get that a lot. People want to reach out to me for support, but then they're like, can you fix them too? Can you heal them too? And they're not your responsibility. And I know it sounds, in our culture, it might sound selfish and whatnot, but it's not selfish, it's self-preservation. You can't think about someone else who is breaking you more than you're thinking about your own self. It doesn't mean you wish them any ill, but it means you have to prioritize yourself, right? On the airplane, they say, put on your mask first before you put on the mask for the other person. Because if you are not okay, you can't help them anyway. Get yourself right first, right? So release the responsibility of their disorder. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, it has nothing to do with you. And this is going to sound a little harsh, but this is the reality of it. Their disorder, the way that they live, the way that they function in this world has nothing to do with you. You were just like another fly in a spider's web. You were just passing by and you got trapped. And I know that sounds a little harsh. That's not my intention, but I want you to understand that no one, even for myself, you're not special to them. You're special. You're special to you. You're special to your loved ones, and you're definitely special in God's eyes. But to these people, no one is special. Not their children, not their parents, not their siblings, not their friends. Everyone is a matter of convenience until you are no longer a benefit and a convenience to them. So release the responsibility of their disorder. It has nothing to do with you. You were simply passing by and got trapped. And yes, there are things that you can do on your healing journey. Again, healing is not just about feeling better, but it's about evolving. It's about shifting your mindset, shifting certain things in who you are, how you function, how you approach relationships to make sure that you don't get trapped in someone else's web, right? And that's something I teach also in my program, The Relationship Detox, or in my one-on-one, right? Either way, either one that I work with, this is something that I teach, because it's not just healing. Say, let's heal. I want to heal and move on. It's not just about getting out of the relationship and not feeling that aching pain anymore, right? It's also about evolving, because you want to become a wiser woman, because these people are out there. So if you don't do the work here, you can end up in another situation like that again. And you don't want to put yourself in a shell, to put up a big old wall and become hard and cold and mean, thinking that, okay, this is how I protect myself. No, now you're sabotaging yourself. You deserve to be the free spirit that you are, the kind person that you are, the loyal person that you are, right? The loving person that you are. But it's about learning how to use discernment on who to give that to, right? That is all a part of healing. So if you are struggling with letting go You're struggling with acceptance. You're struggling with the grieving of losing someone, right? Know that you don't have to do it alone. Okay. As I said, I have a program called the Relationship Detox. So you can go to the relationshipdetox.co to get more information on that. Right now, you have great access where not only do you get access to that course, but you get a free month inside of my group coaching community called Thrive. So that is a combination you get that will be going on for the next couple of weeks. So get access to that before that goes. As I said, I also have a group coaching community called Thrive. And then I also have one-on-one if you're looking for support. But know that you don't have to do this alone. You don't need to do this alone. I was listening to a coach. She's in the health and wellness field, and she was interviewing someone else on Instagram earlier today. And both women were saying how, they had become very successful financially. And but they realized they were still struggling with, not feeling whole, feeling empty, feeling sad, and actually experiencing depression. And they both said once they started getting therapy, they were like, I could have gotten rid of this problem a long time ago. Like I didn't have to suffer this long, right? And that is the philosophy that I have in my own life as well as in anything. I love learning. I love personal development. I love learning new things, right? Because we don't have to stay stuck. There are people out there who know how to navigate what we're struggling in. All right. So don't let your pride stop you. Don't let feeling embarrassed stop you. Get the support that you need. So that you're not here. You're not in the same place in 2025. Okay. These breakups are not normal. These relationships are not normal. They're very draining. They're very confusing. And sometimes the people around you, even though they love you, they can't support you in the way that you need supported. So again, if you're interested, click the links below. If you're watching the replay, all the links will be below. For those of you who are here with me live, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, you can post them now, or you can comment after or message me after. But go ahead and check out the relationshipdetox.co to get more information on that. Let me see if I have any questions here before I go. All right. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll give it a couple seconds. And then I will see you all tomorrow. If you don't already know, I am live every morning, Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a message. So if you want to catch me live again, catch me there. And you know what? I pop in live whenever I'm able to. And I'm actually enjoying coming on live more than pre-recorded. So just turn on your notification bell so you can catch me when I go live. So, if you have any questions as I'm sharing, I can answer it right on the spot for you. All right. And if you don't know how to turn on your notification, you go to the subscribe, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and then you will get a drop down. You hit subscribe again once you're already subscribed. You'll get a drop down, and you just hit all notifications. So you'll get notified when I come on. All right. I hope this message served you tonight. You all have a blessed night, and I will see you in the morning.